There's a truth about your reality that most people will never hear, not because it's too complex to understand, but because it's deliberately hidden. And here's why. If everyone knew they were co-creating reality every second of the day, the systems of control that run the world would collapse. Governments, religion, education systems, and media, they all rely on one simple idea, that you are powerless. That things happen to you, not through you, not because of you, and not with you. But that's not how reality works. And once you know this, nothing can ever control you again. Now, this video isn't for everybody. It's for the ones that can feel it. That nudge in the back of your mind that says, you've always been more powerful than they've told you. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get one thing straight. You're not learning how to co-create reality. You're already doing it. Every moment, every thought, every reaction, and every assumption. The difference is most people are doing it unconsciously. They're not manifesting intentionally. They are just reacting to the news, to their bank account, to what someone told them in passing. And those assumptions become the blueprint of their next experience. That's what they don't want you to realize, because the moment you wake up to the fact that your reality is a mirror, that what you believe about yourself, about the world, about what's possible, reflects back to you through your experiences, the game changes. The law isn't that you attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is made up of what you assume to be true. So you're not waiting to start co-creating reality. You're just deciding whether to do it on purpose or to continue with the programming. And that programming, well, most of that didn't come from you, it came from them, which leads us into our next point. So who are they? The people that benefit from your power being switched off. These include institutions that were designed from the beginning to make you forget who you really are. You were taught to pray to something outside of you, instead of realizing the kingdom is within. You were told to obey authority, instead of listening to the quiet inner voice that's always guided you. You were told to hope, wait, try, grind, and suffer, instead of assume, trust, intend, and receive. And why is this? Well, because if everybody started living from within, if people start waiting for permission to be happy, free, and abundant, the world would be a very different place. This isn't new. Ancient teachings have been saying the same thing for thousands of years. From the Hermetics to the Gnostics, from Jesus saying, "It's done unto you as you believe," to Neville Goddard's "Imagination creates reality." The truth was always there, but it's either been ignored, ridiculed, or bullied, under rituals and rules, because a society full of awakened creators is a threat to control. You don't need permission to create. You don't need a title, a degree, a guru, or a religious leader. You just need to realize you were never meant to be a follower. You are the creator pretending not to be. When you remember that, everything changes. Okay, so let's clear something up. You're not the only one creating your reality. You're not doing it in a vacuum. And this is where most people get stuck or go way off track. Because yes, you are God in your world, but so is everyone else. You're not the only projector in the cinema. You're one light shining through the film strip of your beliefs onto the screen of life. And the universe, or the larger self, the field, God, whatever word you want, it's always collaborating with you. You move and it moves. You assume and it adapts. You persist and it performs. Co-creation isn't about controlling everything. It's about aligning with what you choose to believe and trusting that the invisible parts of the process are handled for you. Think of it like this. You're not the sculptor in the stone. You're the chooser. You decide what to believe. You decide how to react. And you decide what role you're going to play. And the universe? Well, it shapes itself around your decision. That's what co-creating is. You don't do it with force. You align with it. You become it. But here's the forbidden bit. You can't co-create consciously if you're still letting the world tell you who you are. And this brings us to something critical. Okay, have you ever noticed how quickly your mind goes to the worst case scenario? You get a message saying we need to talk, and your body tenses up like it's life or death. You see your bank account dip for a moment, and immediately think, I'll never get ahead. And why is this? Well, from the moment you were born, you were taught to expect lack, to fear rejection, to doubt your inner voice, and to worship facts instead of faith. and that programming runs deep. Most people don't need enemies. They have their own thoughts bullying them 24/7. But here's the thing, that programming, it isn't yours. It was handed down. Schools told you what success was. Religion told you what salvation was. And society told you what beauty, value, worth, and truth were. And your job now isn't to fight the programming, it's to replace it. Because here's the truth, you don't need more affirmations. You need new assumptions. You need to assume things will work out. You need to assume life is responding to you. You need to assume that you're supported, guided, and chosen, because you are. But until you reprogram that inner dialogue, you'll continue to co-create what you don't want. And this leads us to the most powerful truth of all. So there's no force more magnetic than certainty. Not hustle, not hope. Not begging, pleading, asking, or waiting. Just certainty. When you decide something is already true, when you stop checking the 3D to see if it's working, when you let the outside world catch up with your inner knowing, that's when things start to shift. But most people are stuck in a loop. I'll believe it when I see it. But reality doesn't work that way. You see it when you believe it. You don't manifest from desperation. You manifest from assumption. An assumption comes from identity. An identity is something you choose. That's why Neville Goddard said, dare to assume what you want to be, and you will compel everyone to play their part. When you operate in a state of the wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, not towards it, you don't beg reality to deliver, you command it to conform. Not with arrogance, but with inner stillness, an inner knowing, and that's the secret. They didn't want you to know that the most powerful thing you can do is assume something into existence, and to hold that assumption regardless of what the world shows you. Because eventually the world will show you what you assume to be true. So for me, the truth that they don't want you to know is that you're not here to survive, you're here to create. To choose, to co-create consciously, deliberately, and fearlessly. You don't have to earn it, and you don't have to wait. You just have to become it within, and the rest will follow. It always has. You've just forgotten who you are, but you need to remember. Because once you do, you can't go back to pretending that you're powerless, because you never were, and you never will be. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you guys. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and join our community of like-minded people. As always, thank you so much for your engagement and support. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.